His Excellency Mr. President Tadateru Kone, President of International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies, dear His Excellencies Mr. President of International Committee of the Red Cross, Mr. Peter Maurer, dear His Excellency Mevlut Çavuşoğlu, Foreign Minister of the Republic of Turkey, dear Governor of Antalya, Münir Karaloğlu, dear Honorable Representatives of the volunteers and the Red Cross and the Red Crescent Societies, dear fellow Gutens, welcome to Antalya, to this coastal and historical city which is known, as mentioned, as Pearl of Turkey. Welcome again to Antalya. As the Red Crescent Society of Turkey, we are very proud and thrilled to host such a critical meetings in this as we are preparing to celebrate our 115th anniversary. The International Red Cross Red Crescent movement emanated from a moral and humanitarian obligation during the Battle of Solferino 158 years ago. Henry Dunant, the founding father of our movement, witnessed one of history's most painful human tragedies. Fighting continued for hours, leaving thousands killed or injured. The small medical service in the battlefield was unable to cope. Medical provision was inadequate. Many died from simple wounds due to a lack of knowledge or care. In 1862, Henry Dunant published a memory of Solferino, you all know. And in it he wrote, "Oh, how valuable it would have been to have had 100 experienced and qualified voluntary orderlies and nurses. Such a group would have formed a nucleus around which could have been rallied the scanty help and dispersed efforts which needed competent guidance. We are here today because these pioneering thoughts have turned into a large and powerful Red family over time. His dream has inspired a dignified journey for our movement in order to create competent guidance needed to lead the scanty help and the dispersed effort that Dunant had worried once. I hope that the statutory meetings of the International Red Cross and Red Crescent movement, which hosts nearly 2,000 members of our extended Red family from 189 countries with a record high participation, will help improve our competent guidance, our power of humanity by us together as good ends. Dear friends, as the Red Crescent, we historically believe in the strength of impartiality, equality, cultural diversity with regards to individuals from different ethnic or religious backgrounds, meeting around the same purpose. Marco Pasha and Karl Edward Hammerschmidt, who are Greek and Hungarian Magyar, who were among the founders of the Turkish Red Crescent, are best examples of such togetherness and inclusion from our own past. Today, 67 international Turkish Red Crescent volunteers you can see around the tables by red dresses, including 3 Syrian people from 12 countries currently join good hands to make this event happen. When we start talking about human dignity and humanitarian values, details such as ethnic or religious background are nonsense. Of paramount importance is human dignity, and to be able to deliver what suffering and indigent people need under troublesome and disastrous circumstances, period. This year, we have come together to manifest our ongoing dedication for carrying out Dunant's legacy. Of course, human suffering did not start with the Battle of Solferino, and nor was it an end. Humanity's pain has since continued from day to day. and is now part of our daily lives across the world. A wide array of humanitarian crises, including wars, disasters, conflicts, are on news every other minute on TV or the internet. We witness human tragedies and stories about people leaving their home, work, land, memories. We watch stories of children who have to leave their friends, toys, families, and schools. We see how babies are washed up dead on beaches. Yet, sadly enough, the amount of media coverage of humanitarian crises and the amount of humanitarian action vis-à-vis these crises do not often overlap. There are still a paradoxical gap between the recognition of crises and finding appropriate solutions for them. During our Red Family's internal discussions this week, it is a necessity to find solution for a stronger Red movement to handle this paradox. That is why we are here. Our movement needs to be stronger since its fundamental principles offer a better world for humanity. In fact, our movement's principles imply revoking the existing world order in which being powerful overwhelms being right, and national interests outplay the pressing needs and interests of humanity. Our utmost mission is to put forward humanitarian agenda before any other forms of interests, be it national, personal, or institutional, as far as human dignity is concerned. We desire a strong Red movement which values human dignity regardless of nationality, religion, class, or political thought. We envision a movement that has earned the trust of everyone while ensuring that it does not take sides in any political, religious, or ideological disputes or conflicts. This is why the movement's mission is even more important than ever before. This is why we call our movement Good Hands. The International Red Cross and Red Crescent movements is a red family of national societies. Each of them, each of you, is a good hand. We are good hands together. We are good hands together for a better world and a stronger Red movement. At our meetings, we will have the opportunity to address all these issues and challenges that the humanitarian sector faces today. Our good hands and will begin the work of drafting a new strategy, including crucial topics such as voluntarism and migration towards 2030. For this very reason, I think we all agree that humanitarian aid per se is not enough to solve many humanitarian issues at stake today. We must innovate. We must use effective human diplomacy by formulating strong humanitarian policy. If we want to accomplish an agile movement in the humanitarian aid sector, which calls upon to set the rules of the game and has the power and privilege of establishing the humanitarian agenda the world needs today, we must have a stronger humanitarian sector against human suffering, a more effective movement within the humanitarian sector, a more active federation within the movement, stronger and more respected national societies within the federation and movements as good ends. We also duly need strong governance and leadership to fulfill these four goals. At this point, our key are bilateral, multilateral, and regional cooperation. We need effective coordination within the federation. We must together transform the federation into a platform for multidimensional and sectoral cooperation and collaboration. Distinguished guests, our event coincides with a period of history during which humanitarian crises stemming from wars and conflicts are most strongly felt since the Second World War. We as good hands will also strive for the enhancement of our movement's impact on a global scale. The Red movement must be empowered in an age of rapid change, uncertainties, and crises. We need a more competent movement. We need holistic policies and approach to cope and with crisis and vulnerabilities they eventually cause. More than 160 million people around the world need humanitarian assistance in order to survive. Humanitarian aid funding rose to a new high of 30 billion US dollars around 2016. However, despite this growth, humanitarian assistance funding is still far from adequate. To overcome this inadequacy, the Turkish Red Crescent seeks new collaboration with other good ends. Our new social harmonization program turns 1 year old. This program is funded by the European Commission, thanks them, and initiated by Turkish Red Crescent and the World Food Program, WFP, to support refugees in our country. It is the largest social safety net program humanitarian in the history of the mankind. 1.3 million people have received Kızılay card initiated to financially support refugees in Turkey from 65 different countries. We place women at the center of our current and future agenda. It is also timely to note that Turkey is also world's top provider of humanitarian aid overseas. We are with those who need our good hands in Syria, Somalia, South Sudan, and Yemen, and others. We are side by side with the children, women, young or old. Good hands work shoulder to shoulder. When an earthquake hit Mexico very recently, the Red family worked together to bind up wounds in Myanmar and Bangladesh to help hundreds of thousands of Rohingyas ease their agonies. We are working in collaboration with Bangladesh and Bangladesh Red Crescent and Myanmar Red Cross movement to ensure that our helps are delivered to victims and those affected in the most effective manner. In Yemen, good hands make great effort to halt cholera epidemic, which has become the largest and the fastest spreading outbreak of the disease in modern history. Good hands work everywhere together for one good reason: humanitarian interests and human dignity. Anytime, anywhere, Turkish Red Crescent Kızılay works in partnership and solidarity with national societies, which are all part of our good hands. We believe that only this cooperation and the solidarity can turn our good hands into a stronger red network. For a more active movement, we need good hands who have solved its problems regarding cooperation issues. In the coming days, we will elect the new leader of our movement. We are really fully thankful for our previous president. I would like to handshake all for Konoe for his service for 8 years for this Red family. And there will be the elections of new vice presidents along with other members of governing board. Whatever the election result, our federation and movement must be stronger. Stronger good hands, stronger Red Cross and Red Crescent movement is the chief source of hope and relief of humanity. Dear fellow good hands, we have no time to lose for humanity. We need to exceed our boundaries, extend our vision, increase cooperation. We must all stand together to create a proactive movement who has the capacity to further mitigate the crisis by offering sustainable, preventive, and early warning models. I have been lately proposing to consider the following questions. What would have Henry Dunant felt if he had experienced conflicts, wars, disasters, and cascading humanitarian crises in today's world? That is the vantage point from which we should start thinking about the future of our movement. With no further delay, we need our founding spirit, the very first motivation Henry Dunant addressed more than ever before. I once again wish good hands all the best. I would like to thank IFRC, ICRC, and the Turkish Red Crescent staff, as well as our volunteers, for your devotion, commitment, and contribution to Red principles and realization of our statutory meeting. Long live Red Movement, long live Good Hands.